And budget hearing. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are joined tonight by all of our trustees, our superintendent of schools, Dr. Timothy Harney, our assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction, Mr. Robert Haas, our assistant superintendent of finance and operations, Mr. Kerry Lachlan, our assistant superintendent for personnel and PPS, Ms. Emily Ekstrom, our district legal counsel, Mr. Neil Black, our district clerk, Mr. Zambonetti, and our student rep, Ms. Kaylee Bruckner. As always, there are two opportunities to participate during the Board of Ed meeting. The first is just before the board takes up its agenda, and the second follows disposition of all agenda items. As always, if you'd like to speak, we ask that you come to the podium. You must be a resident or an employee of the district. Any other person must be voted in by a majority vote. We ask that you keep those comments to approximately 3 minutes. As always, you can see in the back, we are live streaming, and it'll be posted to board docs, and you can follow the district at BBP School District. Before we get into our reports, though, we want to open up to the community. Any new or old business? Not hearing any. I just want to say on behalf of the Board of Education, it is our privilege to recognize two groups of extraordinary individuals whose contributions have helped shape the success of the Bayport Blue Point School District. The faculty and staff receiving tenure tonight, and our faculty and staff members who unfortunately will be retiring at the end of the year. First, to our tenure recipients, congratulations on reaching this important milestone in your professional journey. Tenure is more than a recognition of years of service. It is a reflection of your dedication to excellence, your commitment to your students, and the confidence that our district has in the abilities as educators. Through your hard work, creativity, and perseverance, you have demonstrated the qualities that make lasting differences in the lives of the young people in the Bayport Blue Point School community. Every day, you inspire curiosity, encourage growth, and help students discover their potential. You have embraced the challenges and responsibilities of teaching with professionalism and passion, and we are proud to welcome you into the next chapter of your careers here in Bayport Blue Point. We look forward to the many ways you will continue to enrich our schools and strengthen our community in the years ahead. Tonight, we also pause to honor the retiring faculty and staff members. Each of you have dedicated a significant part of your life to serving the students, families, and colleagues of the Bayport Blue Point community. Your contributions have extended far beyond just your job titles. You have been teachers, mentors, counselors, coaches, support staff, leaders, problem solvers, and most of all, trusted friends. Over the years, you have helped generations of students learn, grow, and succeed. You have celebrated your achievements, guided them through challenges, and created learning environments where they felt supported and also valued. The important work, or the impact of your work, has been not only seen in our schools, but in the lives of countless individuals who you carry forward the lessons and values you've helped instill over the years. The success and reputation of the Bayport Blue Point School District has been built on your dedication, professionalism, and commitment of all people like you. Your years of service have left an enduring legacy that will continue to influence our district long after you are gone. As you begin your new chapter, we offer you our deepest gratitude for your hard work, dedication, and unwavering commitment. While your presence will be greatly missed, your contributions will never be forgotten. We wish you in good health, happiness, and many rewarding adventures in your soon-to-be retirement. To our tenure recipients and retirees alike, thank you for all you have done and continue to do for the students and families of the Bayport Blue Point School District. Your commitment to education and to the community is truly appreciated, and we are honored to celebrate you this evening. Congratulations, and thank you guys so much. But at this time, we'll turn it over to Dr. Harney for his report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. Just a quick couple updates, and then I'll do my congratulations and all. Just congratulations again to our boys and girls lacrosse teams who were both Suffolk County champions, and also to our boys tennis team who's also playing, who are Long Island champions, and they are playing in the state tournament this coming Friday. So good luck to them. Also, I'd like to congratulate all the students and staff that were part of the middle school musical. They truly did a great job. It was a lot of fun to watch. And just two other reminders real quick, and I know Ms. Bruckner will fill us in with everything else, is that we are closed for next Friday, and then we have high school graduation on the 26th, which is also the last day of school. Tonight, just for an order of events, before I pass this over, is we're going to recognize a number of staff members tonight, which I'll talk about in a second. And then we will leave the public meeting, we'll go into the budget hearing, which will come, and then we'll come back after that. So with that, first of all, I really would just like to congratulate all of our staff here tonight. We have a number of groups with us. We have our Teachers of the Month, we have those that are retiring, and those who are up for tenure. So we're kind of in that phase where we're hitting all the various staff members from whether the beginning, within the middle, and towards the end. And it's really the same message to all of you. I really just want to thank you for all that you've done. I often talk about Bayport Blue Point, and people always ask me, what do you love about Bayport Blue Point? And I always say it's the community. And you are a huge part of the community. To my people that are retiring, I just want to thank you for all that you've done. Whether you've been here 10 years, 30 years, you've left a mark, and it is something that the students that you have worked with will absolutely remember, the staff, the community, so I cannot thank you enough. To our Teachers of the Month, I'm going to tell you to keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job, and you're always there for our students. And then for our tenured people who are kind of just starting out with us, the thing that I will always say to you is don't be stagnant, continue to be reflective, continue to grow, continue to push yourselves, and continue to want more for our students, which is I know is what you are currently doing, because then in the end you can look back and say, look what I've been able to do, or the impact that I've had on these families. So on behalf of the Board of Ed, on behalf of the administration, really I just would like to congratulate all of you. I have never ever been more proud to be superintendent, and it's really because of you. I just happen to be the lucky guy who gets to sit up here. So congratulations to all of you, and well done. And for my tenants, please enjoy yourselves. All right, congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Harney. At this time, we'll turn it over to Ms. Bruckner for her student rep report.
As the school year comes to a close, our elementary schools are celebrating with many wonderful events and memorable experiences for students. We are proud to congratulate our educators who have earned tenure and extend our heartfelt appreciation and best wishes to those beginning their retirement. Thank you for your dedication to our students and schools. Wishing everyone a great end to the school year. From the middle school, the year is winding down, but that doesn't mean we're slowing down. At the middle school, we are proud to welcome back our robotics students from their weekend competition representing the 5th Annual American Robotics Invitational at Drew University. The team was a lightning rounds finalist, sharing their trophy with their alliance team from Washington State. Congratulations. As we finish up at the middle school, we look forward to celebrating milestones like our 6th grade orientation tomorrow and our end of the year celebration on 6/16, our awards and moving up ceremonies, and the 8th grade farewell dance. We hope you all finish strong, and we all wish you a happy and safe summer. As we approach the end of the school year, the high school has celebrated many outstanding student accomplishments, including athletic awards, National Honor Society induction ceremony, Senior Scholarship Night, academic awards, and the Principal's Awards, all of which highlighted the hard work and achievements of our students. Seniors will participate in the annual senior walkthroughs, creating lasting memories as they visit the schools where their educational journeys began, while underclassmen prepare for their final days of classes and Regents exams. We are proud of all of that our students have accomplished this year and look forward to a successful conclusion of the 2025-26 school year and the graduation of the class of 2026. Thank you for having me this year. It was a great learning experience and one I will not forget. I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe summer vacation.
Thank you, Ms. Bruckner. I just want to say, on behalf of the board, it's very evident why you were chosen this year. So we're so lucky to be graced with your presence each day, with your presentations from the student perspective. Thank you for just being an all-around great person and adding to this board. So we got a small gift from you, from everyone up here, that Ms. Dougherty is going to share with you. So thank you so much for everything. Congratulations. Best of luck in the future, and we're definitely going to miss you. So big round of applause for Kaylee Bruckner. But at this time, we're going to pass over to Mr. Haas to celebrate our Teachers of the Month award recipients.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Before I get started, I too want to just congratulate all those who are receiving tenure this evening. I wish you nothing but the best in your future here in Bayport Blue Point. And those who are retiring, I want to say congratulations, but most of all, thank you for the contribution that you've not only given to our students, but the impact that you've had on our community as a whole. So thank you very much, and you are going to be missed here in Bayport Blue Point. So it's now my honor to introduce the Teachers of the Month for the months of February through June. And we are going to start with the month of February. This person has been described as a colleague who is creative and organized. He is a go-to person for many people in the building and is extremely supportive to both his students and colleagues. They develop lessons to meet the unique needs of their students. They're always looking for ways to help their students succeed. Parents often describe this teacher as a gift to the students. They're a representative on instructional council and also run Academy Street Poetry Cafe, which always is an event that students look forward to each year. The care, creativity, and knowledge he brings to the classroom every day is inspiring. Please help me in congratulating the Teacher of the Month for the month of February, Rich Hahn. Congratulations, Mr. Hahn. For the month of March, this person has been described as someone that their coworkers instinctively seek out. From navigating the challenging student situations to possessing difficult parent interactions and simply surviving a long week, she listens, empathizes, and brings clarity. What truly sets her apart is her deep passion for helping teachers better understand students, especially behaviors that are oftentimes misunderstood. Her insight consistently helps ensure that every student gets what they need, whether it's emotionally or socially. For students, she is an advocate and a safe space. She makes children feel seen, heard, and valued, helping them break through big emotions into manageable steps. Her generosity, emotional intelligence, and unwavering commitment make the Blue Point Elementary School a stronger, kinder place to work and learn. Please help me in congratulating the Teacher of the Month for the month of March, Jennifer Graziano. Congratulations, Ms. Graziano. For the month of April, this teacher is a steady, positive, and peaceful presence at Sylvan Avenue. She approaches each day with an unwavering patience, grace, and professionalism. Her commitment to her students extends far beyond academics. She takes the time to truly know each child, their strengths, their challenges, and individual stories, and works tirelessly to help them grow not only as learners, but as people. She embraces every aspect of teaching with dedication and heart. Her unwavering commitment, kindness, and love for her students leave a lasting impact on everyone fortunate enough to learn from her and work alongside her. The Teacher of the Month for the month of April, Sarah Desmond. Congratulations, Mrs. Desmond. For the month of May, this teacher is always willing to lend a helping hand, volunteer her time, and support students and staff in countless ways. Whether she is advising clubs, chaperoning trips, providing extra help for students, or simply offering a positive and encouraging presence to those around her, she approaches everything she does with kindness, enthusiasm, and dedication. Many staff members describe her as a go-to person, someone who can always be counted on with a smile and a positive attitude. Her energy is truly contagious, and she brings warmth and optimism to the building each day. Her students genuinely enjoy being in her class, and her enthusiasm and caring nature are felt by everyone fortunate enough to work with her. Her positivity, dedication, and unwavering support make the middle school a better place each and every day. The month of May, Crystal Guntz. Congratulations, Ms. Gunst. And finally, for the month of June, this teacher is described as an exceptionally dedicated and hardworking educator whose impact of the Bayport Blue Point community extends far beyond the classroom. They dedicate an extensive amount of time after school hours working with students, preparing them for various concerts, high-level musical performances, and special events. What truly sets them apart is the positive, supportive environment they create for their students and colleagues alike. He inspires students to challenge themselves musically while making rehearsals engaging, enjoyable, and memorable. His leadership, professionalism, humor, and genuine care for others have earned him the admiration and respect of both students and staff. The Teacher of the Month for the month of June, David Johnson. Congratulations, Mr. Johnson. It is now my pleasure to introduce Ms. Emily Ekstrom, who will be starting the celebration for all those receiving tenure and our retirees.
Thank you, Mr. Haas. This is always one of my favorite nights of the year because it's an opportunity to share our gratitude for those that make BBP such a wonderful place to be. It's a full circle moment to recognize those that have devoted their careers to our students while also congratulating those that have started their journey and are earning tenure. For many reasons tonight, you should all be very proud. I'd like to start the recognitions tonight by calling up our high school principal, Mr. Jamal Walcott.
So that is a long, awkward walk. So it's a great honor to be able to do this tonight. For our first person receiving tenure, they're not here, but I would like to say a few words about them. Ms. Catherine Womack, a valuable member of our staff here at the high school, not only in her work that she's done in the library, but also working one-on-one with our students. Her passion and commitment is a great honor to have her part of the BBP family. So Ms. Womack, if you're watching online, thank you and congratulations. Now, as I had to walk across in that very awkward way, I will be calling everybody up to stand here and listen to their speech very awkwardly as well. And I'm going to start with Miss Alexis Haviters.
Yeah, make the pregnant girl walk all the way down.
Is it an honor to introduce Ms. Haviters as she is recommended for tenure here at Bayport Blue Point School District. Since joining our district as a special education teacher, she has made a lasting impact on the students and serves her colleagues, which she truly supports. One of the qualities that I admire most about Ms. Haviters is her ability to build meaningful relationships with students. She takes the time to truly know each learner as an individual, understanding their strengths, challenges, interests, and goals. She consistently sees the best in her students, often helping them recognize strengths within themselves that they have not seen before. What sets Ms. Havers apart is her empathy. Ms. Havers approaches every interaction with patience, understanding, and genuine kindness. Her students know that she believes in them and that that belief has a powerful impact on their growth and success. In addition, as a yoga sound healer instructor, she brings a calming presence and thoughtful perspective to those around her, often doing PDs with our staff here at the high school. This is especially exciting year for Ms. Havers personally because she prepares to welcome her firstborn child in July. We can clap for that, yeah. You missed it. We are thrilled for all that lies ahead and know that the qualities that make you such an exceptional teacher, your patience, compassion, and dedication, will serve you well in your new role as a parent. We are grateful that you found a home here at Bayport Blue Point, and we look forward to the many contributions you'll have moving ahead. Thank you. The next awkward speech will go to Ms. Caitlin Weber. Today, we are thrilled to honor Ms. Weber as she receives tenure from Bayport Blue Point School District. Ms. Weber is also a proud graduate of Marist University. She joined Bayport Blue Point in 2022 and has a profound impact on her students and the special ed teachers. Her unwavering commitment drives each student to grow, succeed, and realize their full potential. Caitlin's dedication transcends the classroom as assistant varsity soccer coach at the high school, where she inspires and uplifts our students with her patience and encouragement. In her spare time, she immerses herself in writing poetry and short stories. Her thoughtfulness and attention to detail contributes to everything that she brings into the classroom. I have had some of the best pedagogical conversations with Ms. Weber in 2 decades. As the oldest sibling, she fits the profile of leader and cares for those around her. Ms. Weber takes the same characteristics into the classroom, giving her all to care for every student that she is around. It is an absolute honor to be part of Ms. Weber's tenure process, and I'm truly excited to be a part of and watch where her dedication takes her throughout her career. Ms. Weber, thank you for your endless dedication to our students and the school community. Congratulations. And now to honor our retirees at the high school. Not here with us, but Mr. Matthew Bertzel, a committed member of our guidance staff, graduate from Harvard, has one of the strongest knowledge bases that you'll ever meet. Princeton, I'm sorry, I was doing it without my notes, sorry. Mr. Bertzel, I apologize. From Princeton, a true, just a wealth of knowledge, and takes that into every approach and everything that he does. So to Mr. Bertzel, congratulations on your retirement. So I don't know if anything could be awkward for this man, but I'm gonna try. Mr. McMullen, could you come on up?
Could you tell the crowd that I'm a graduate of Borough Manhattan Community College and Queens College? Very proud of that.
I think you did, yes. All right, describing the impact Mr. McMullen has had on Bayport Blue Point School District is quite challenging. His colleagues have stated that when he started at Bayport Blue Point in 1999, he came with creativity and energy. 27 years later, he still comes to school with the same creativity, energy, and professionalism. The best way I can illustrate his significance is by kind of comparing him to party mix. Just like in a party mix, there's a variety of cereals. There's Chex, there's Cheerios, there's cornflakes. Mr. McMullen is often the first person to get to the building, and he's a wonderful way to start your morning. While he might not always be the healthiest choice, he constantly makes you smile. Much like the pretzels and the bag of chips in the mix, Mr. McMullen is never quiet in his approach. Whether he's teaching a classroom, uplifting students and staff in the hallways, or actively participating in various clubs, showing up at games, he will always bring energy and enthusiasm. Similarly to the nuts, the peanuts, the cashews in the mix, Mr. McMullen provides substance, often offering life lessons and values that extend beyond the 40-minute period. He gives comfort and peace that nourishes our students for a lifetime, constantly planting seeds in their lives. Lastly, like the M&Ms and the marshmallows in the mix, he has a sweetness that keeps students coming back for more. Throughout his illustrious career, Mr. McMullen has been the Pied Piper of students, creating memorable experiences that will carry with them for the rest of their lives. Mr. McMullen is described as an icon by past students and present. It is an honor to say congratulations on your retirement. And lastly, I'd like to call up, lots of hugs, Mr. Zarcone. Oh, is that how it works? So, Mrs. Zarcone, a valued member of Bayport Blue Point School District since 1993, gifting 33 years to the school community. When I came in my position as principal, Mr. Zarcone informed me of his extensive experience working with various principals throughout his career. He has served as assistant principal under 5 different principals and at one point was even the interim principal at the high school. He has made himself an invaluable member of the Bayport Blue Point staff. I describe him as the master of the master schedule. He acts as a special agent for school safety, running our Blurt Committee and SAFE Committee. He earned the title of Patriarch, overseeing parking and privilege for seniors. He's also the Zen Master of Region Scheduling and Proctoring, serving as the Director of Driver's Education. He is the core of all things coordinated, after school and extracurricular activities. All those titles are things that Mrs. Zarcone has overseen over the years and has perfected and mastered. On a very serious note, it's been an honor working with Neil. Over these past 2 years, he has been a wealth of knowledge at both the building and district level. Often managing his time across both locations, Mr. Zarcone is a valuable colleague and friend since the moment I arrived. Neil is beloved by our staff at the high school and known by our students as somebody who will hold them accountable while also being attentive to their needs. Neil, you will truly be missed, and congratulations on your retirement. And at this time, I'd like to call up Mr. Westerlin from the middle school.
still a very long and awkward walk. All right, so at this time, I would like to invite Samantha Burns down. I'm excited for the opportunity to recognize Mrs. Samantha Burns tonight as she's up for tenure. Throughout her time with us, Mrs. Burns has demonstrated a commitment to providing engaging and meaningful experiences for our students. Whether she's introducing new artistic techniques such as soap carvings or literati paintings, or advising clubs, she's always gone above and beyond for our students. Mrs. Burns works tirelessly to showcase student artwork throughout our school and the community. It's thanks to her that our students' work can be found displayed throughout the halls of the middle school and beyond in the public library and other spaces throughout the community. But what truly sets Mrs. Burns apart is her belief that each student is capable of greatness. Her students consistently challenge themselves in her classroom because they know she believes in them. Thank you so much, Mrs. Burns, and congratulations tonight. We also have a few retirements at the middle school. Unfortunately, tonight, Ms. Asta, she couldn't make it, but I would like to say a few words on her behalf. As a clerical in the middle school, Ms. Asta, her work takes place mostly behind the scenes, but anyone who's worked with her knows just how important she's been to the daily life of our building. Her dedication, reliability, and willingness to help others have made a lasting impact on students, staff, and families alike. We are incredibly grateful for all that she's done over the years, and whilst we're very sorry she couldn't make it here tonight, we look forward to celebrating her and thanking her properly back at the middle school. Congratulations, Ms. Asta. Okay, Mrs. Herlihy, you could come on down. No crying. No crying. I consider myself incredibly lucky to recognize Mrs. Karen Herlihy tonight. Mrs. Herlihy has been an important part of our middle school family for 3 decades. During that time, she has taught generations of students. She's embraced every aspect of middle school life. She has helped welcome incoming students for 6th grade orientations. She's been there at parent information nights. She's been there all along the way, easing the transition for our elementary students into their middle school journey. She's participated in countless field trips, medieval fairs, and she supported everything from the fundraising efforts and to reading initiatives that we've had throughout the years. If you've been lucky enough to attend one of our musicals, you know that Mrs. Herlihy devotes countless hours to costume design and making sure our student performers look and feel their best, and their confidence shines as a result. Her care, creativity, and attention to detail help to bring those shows to life. Mrs. Herlihy is often among the first few people in the building and the last to leave each day. And it's easy to see that she's organized, prepared, and runs a very tight ship, but she's also compassionate and willing to go the extra mile for our students. I've seen it time and time again. Mrs. Herlihy's impact will forever live on in the students she's taught and the colleagues she's supported and mentored. She leaves behind quite a legacy. So, Mrs. Herlihy, we wish you many happy years ahead, and we thank you for your commitment. Okay, and last but not least, I would like to invite Mrs. Deb Schmieder to the front here for some recognition. resume. Throughout Mrs. Schmieder's career, she has built an impressive resume. As a speech pathologist, she has devoted herself to helping students find and express their voices, and she's done that for countless students in most of our buildings here. At the middle school, I've seen firsthand the way she tirelessly advocates for those who have been fortunate enough to call her their teacher. Mrs. Schmieder has been an advisor. She's served on committees. She's volunteered her time and shared thoughtful ideas. In all of her roles, she's brought wisdom, common sense, and has been a voice of reason. What stands out most about Mrs. Schmieder, however, is not her experience or her accomplishments, impressive as they may be. It's the way she treats people, no matter their age. Throughout any given day when Mrs. Schmieder is not working with students, there's a good chance she can be found talking with a colleague, offering support, sharing advice, or simply listening. In a profession where communication matters so much, Mrs. Schmieder has always understood the importance of making people feel heard. The impact Mrs. Schmieder has had on students, families, and colleagues will continue long after she leaves us. Mrs. Schmieder, thank you for your years of service, your dedication, your friendship, and the care you've shown so many. In the years ahead, we wish you nothing but happiness. Thank you. I'd now like to call Mrs. Beard up from Academy.
Yes, it is a long walk. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call up Mrs. Nicole F. Doyen. It is my honor to recommend Nicole F. Doyen for tenure. Nicole is an exceptional educator, and it has been a privilege to work alongside her. She is one of the most compassionate professionals I have had the opportunity to know. From the moment she joined Academy Street, it was clear that she approaches her work with genuine care, patience, and commitment to her students. As a special education teacher, she constantly goes above and beyond to support each child's academic, social, and emotional growth, ensuring that every student feels valued, understood, and capable of success. She began her work in our self-contained 1211 program, where she was an incredible source of support for students with diverse needs. She created a classroom environment where students felt safe, valued, and understood, while also encouraging them to push themselves to reach their potential. Her students knew she believed in them, and because of that, they were willing to take risks and work through challenges with confidence. The past year, she transitioned into a co-teaching role, and watching her collaborate with her co-teacher has been incredibly impressive. Their partnership is seamful, thoughtless, and impactful, and it is clear that the students benefit greatly from the strong teamwork they have built together. She approaches collaboration with openness, professionalism, and humility, always focused on what is best for students. Nicole F. Doyen supports colleagues, builds meaningful relationships with students and families, and she never seeks recognition. Yet the impact she has on those around her is undeniable. She is a tremendous asset to Academy Street in the Bayport Blue Point School District, and I ask the Board of Education to consider tenure for Nicole F. Doyen. Next, I would like to call up Michelle Muccio. It has been a privilege to work alongside Michelle Muccio, our school social worker, and to observe the impact she has on our students every single day. She is one of those people who students naturally seek out because they know she genuinely cares about them. Whether a student needs support, reassurance, encouragement, or simply someone to listen to, she is absolutely a go-to person for them. One of the things that stands out about Michelle Muccio is how deeply invested she is in the well-being of every child she works with. She does not give up on students, especially the ones who need someone in their corner the most. If she believes a student needs additional support, she will continue advocating until something meaningful is put into place. She speaks honestly, stands firm in what she believes is right for kids, and is never afraid to have difficult conversations when it means helping a student. She's built strong relationships across the entire school community through her push-in lessons, small group and individual counseling sessions, and informal check-ins. She always seems to know which students need a little extra attention or encouragement, and she has a way of making them feel safe, understood, and valued. Students trust her because they know she is authentic and looking out for them. In addition to all that Ms. Muccio does, she runs the Wellness Club and is part of the school improvement team where she helps to organize the Rock Your Socks program. Beyond the work she does directly with students, she is also an incredible colleague. She brings passion, honesty, and heart into everything she does. She is a valued member of Academy Street and the Bayport Blue Point School District, and it is for all these reasons that I recommend her tenure and ask the Board of Education to consider her tenure. Next, I would like to call up Mrs. Purdy. It is my pleasure to recommend Mary Purdy for tenure. Throughout her time at Academy Street School, she has shown herself to be a dedicated professional whose strong work ethic is evident in everything she does. She takes time to get to know her students and to understand their individual needs. She celebrates their successes and provides reassurance and guidance when challenges arise. She advocates for her students and works to ensure that they receive the support and instruction that they need to be successful. She is dependable and follows through on her responsibilities with care and attention to detail. She also makes consistent effort to connect and communicate with families, keeping them informed in a respectful and professional way. Her willingness to maintain open lines of communication helps build trust between home and school and supports student success. In addition, Mary Purdy is willing to lend a hand wherever needed, whether supporting colleagues, assisting with grade level events, or stepping in to help solve a concern. She is committed to the success of our students and school. She is a valued member of the Academy Street community and the Bayport Blue Point School District, and I am confident she will continue to make a positive impact on the students, staff, and families that she serves for years to come. It is for these reasons that I respectfully ask the Board of Education to consider tenure for Mary Purdy. And next, I call down Jennifer Pierce. It is my absolute pleasure to recommend Jennifer Pierce for tenure. She is someone Academy Street School community relies on and respects tremendously. She is dedicated, hardworking, and truly passionate about teaching and helping students grow both academically and personally. One of her greatest strengths is her ability to make learning meaningful and engaging. She consistently finds thoughtful and creative ways to present curriculum so students can connect to it, stay engaged, and feel successful in the classroom. She has a calm, easygoing nature that makes her a pleasure to work with, and someone both students and colleagues naturally gravitate towards. At the same time, she maintains high expectations for her students and holds them accountable in a way that is both supportive and respectful. Her students know she genuinely cares about them, but they also know she expects their best effort each day. She creates a classroom environment where students feel safe, supported, and challenged to grow. Jennifer Pierce takes on leadership roles within the grade level and is someone colleagues can always count on to help coordinate events, manage responsibilities, and keep things running smoothly. In addition to everything she does in her classroom, she leads our One School, One Book program, which has become a meaningful and positive experience for students, staff, and families. No matter what comes her way, she handles it with calmness, professionalism, and care, always keeping students' best interests at the center of her decisions. She is a valued member of Academy Street and the Bayport Blue Point School District, and it is with much enthusiasm that I ask the board to consider Jennifer Pierce for tenure. Okay, moving on to retirements. I'd like to welcome down here Merrill Thompson. Merrill Thompson arrived at BBP in November of 1991 as a permanent substitute. She said that she had never heard of Bayport Blue Point before, and she needed to pull out her Hagstrom map to find out where it was and where she was going. 34 plus years later at Academy Street and 35.1 years in education, it is safe to say she found exactly where she belonged. Over the years, she taught grades 1 through 5, built countless connections with students and colleagues, and became part of the heart of Academy Street. Her feelings about teaching were captured in a comment that she made to me. She said, "Being with students feeds your soul." And that is how she lived her career. Whether she was spearheading the 4th grade Quail project, making sure there was never a spare minute without learning taking place, or simply sitting and reading with students, she always put children at the center of everything she did. She held students to high standards and held them accountable because she cared about them and truly wanted the best for every child. Students always knew that even when she was pushing them, she was firmly in their corner. Merrill Thompson is never afraid to speak honestly. Whether it's to families about how their children were doing, to students about what they needed to do to grow, or to colleagues about where she stood on a particular topic. Her honesty, humor, dedication have left a lasting mark on Academy Street. When I asked her during our exit interview, "Is there anything else you would like to share or reflect on before this next chapter begins?" And she said, "Are all these meetings really necessary?" Merrill, as you begin this exciting next step, we wish you all the happiness and fulfillment that retirement has to offer you. Your talents, dedication, and positive spirit have served you well throughout your career, and I have no doubt that whatever interests and adventures or passions that you choose to pursue next, you will approach them with the same enthusiasm and success. Thank you for your incredible impact you have had on generations of students, families, and colleagues. We wish you a retirement filled with joy, relaxation, and wonderfully meeting-free days. You're welcome. You're welcome. And lastly, Mrs. Anne-Marie Manganello is not here tonight, but I just want to recognize and celebrate her retirement. Throughout her years at Academy Street, she's been a tremendous support to our K-2 students and classrooms, particularly in the area of mathematics. She had a remarkable ability to step in wherever she was needed, helping students build skills and confidence. Her steady presence, patience, and commitment have made a lasting impact on both students and staff. We thank her for her years of service and the care she brought to the work each day. We wish her retirement filled with good health, happiness, relaxation, and opportunities to enjoy the people and the things she loves the most. Congratulations, Anne-Marie, and thank you for all you've done for our students and school. And now I'd like to welcome up Mrs. Kelly from Sylvan Avenue.
Tonight, Tonight, I am very happy to first speak about Mrs. Veronica Anderson. Mrs. Veronica Anderson has been a dedicated member of the Sylvan Avenue community since 2016. She began her work in the district as a part-time lunch aide before serving as a one-to-one support for students, always demonstrating patience, compassion, and a commitment to helping children feel successful and supported. Most recently, Mrs. Anderson has served as a teacher assistant in our UPK program. In her role within UPK, Mrs. Anderson supports students both individually and in small group learning stations, helping to create a warm, nurturing, and well-structured classroom environment for our youngest learners. She works closely with classroom teachers, takes a hands-on approach in all aspects of the classroom, and consistently brings thoughtful ideas and positive energy to support student success. She builds strong and meaningful relationships with students and takes great pride in watching them grow socially, emotionally, and academically throughout the year. Her caring nature, attentiveness, and dedication help ensure that every child within our school community feels supported and excited to learn each day. Congratulations. Next, I would like to speak about Mr. Doug Iadanza. Mr. Doug Iadanza joined the Bayport Blue Point School District as a student teacher in 2019 before serving as a substitute physical education teacher throughout the district. In 2022, he was hired full-time as a physical education teacher at Sylvan and additionally taught health at the middle school this year. As a physical education teacher, Mr. Iadanza creates an engaging and positive environment where students are encouraged to build confidence, teamwork, sportsmanship, and healthy habits. He brings enthusiasm and energy to his classes each day and works to ensure all students feel included, supported, and successful. His ability to connect with students and foster meaningful relationships has made him a valued and trusted presence within our school community. He's also an active member of our school community, supporting countless building level events, including Field Day, Fit Day, and PTA-sponsored events and activities. Beyond the school day, he's deeply involved in the Bayport Blue Point community as a coach for junior varsity boys and girls tennis, varsity wrestling, and youth wrestling and tennis programs. Mr. Iadanza takes great pride in the positive impact he has on students both inside and outside of the gym, and his commitment to fostering confidence, perseverance, and a love of physical activity will continue to leave a lasting impression on the students he serves. Congratulations. I am happy this evening to also speak about Miss Sarah Post. Miss Sarah Post joined the Sylvan Avenue community in 2022 as our school social worker. Since joining the district, Ms. Post has become an integral part of both building and district-wide initiatives focused on supporting students' social and emotional well-being. Ms. Post builds meaningful relationships with students through her compassionate, responsive, and student-centered approach. Through classroom push-in lessons and social-emotional learning experiences, she has been able to connect with and support students across all grade levels, helping them develop confidence, resilience, empathy, and positive peer relationships. She was instrumental in the development and implementation of our SEL curriculum and has helped foster a positive school climate through initiatives including buddy classes, peer mentors, superintendent student council, and wellness club. In addition to her work with students, Ms. Post is a trusted support for families, maintaining open communication and helping connect parents and caregivers with resources and supports when needed. She works collaboratively with staff and administration to ensure students are supported both academically and emotionally, always approaching her work with care, professionalism, and a deep commitment to helping every child feel connected, supported, and successful. We are grateful for Ms. Post's dedication and look forward to her continued support of our students and families and school community for years to come. Next, I would like to speak about Mrs. Diane Nowicki as she retires. Take your time. Mrs. Diane Nowicki has been a dedicated member of the Bayport Blue Point School District for the past 15 years, supporting students at both the elementary and middle school level in a variety of classrooms and learning environments. She retired from Sylvan Avenue Elementary School in January of this year. At Sylvan Avenue, Mrs. Nowicki supported some of our youngest learners. In her role, she worked closely with classroom teachers to provide individualized and small group support, helping students build confidence, develop skills, and experience success throughout the school day. She created positive and meaningful connections with students and took great pride in watching them grow. Throughout her 15 years of service, Mrs. Nowicki has made a lasting impact on the lives of countless students through her caring approach and dedication to their success. We are grateful for her many contributions to our school and district community and wish her a happy, healthy, and well-deserved retirement. Although she is not here this evening, I would like to just mention Mrs. Donna White, who retired from her role as Senior Office Assistant in March of 2026 this year after 20 years of dedicated service. At Sylvan Avenue, she played an essential role in the daily operations of our building in the countless details that keep our school running. There is probably nothing about Sylvan that she does not know. Mrs. White has been and continues to be, even in retirement, returning as a sub, a valued member of our community, and we wish her a very happy and well-deserved retirement.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kelly. I want to take a moment to just acknowledge and recognize employees who were not able to attend tonight but have left a lasting legacy with us, and we're grateful for their time at BBP. Penny Grossman, who made a remarkable reputation in her time at Blue Point as one of the most requested teacher aides. She's earned the respect of the entire building, and she will be very missed. Christina Hansen, a senior account clerk in our district office who spent over 30 years keeping us organized and helping to meet the needs of so many of our students. Natalie Doyle, our administrator for PPS, who carried us through our introduction of co-teaching, the expansion of our life skills programs, and so many other important changes in PPS over the years. Her years of leadership within the special education department will be greatly missed, and we wish her all the best in her retirement. And also John McGovern, a faithful member of our custodial staff whose years of hard work and commitment to BBP have led him to this well-earned retirement. And Trudy Schilling, her time in food service includes a ton of hard work, dedication, and smiles to so many students. We know she's going to leave a lasting impression on many. And lastly, I would just like to call Dr. Harney to say a few final and very important words. Dr. Harney.
Thank you, Mrs. Extra. Mr. Haas, come on up. It all began in kindergarten. So, Mr. Haas's journey in our district began in kindergarten as a student at Blue Point Elementary, Sylvan, having previously served as a teacher, chairperson, assistant principal, both the high school and middle school principal, all at Bayport Blue Point. He brought a wealth of experience to his current role, where he has spent the past 3 years helping to shape and strengthen teaching and learning across our district. During his tenure as assistant superintendent, Mr. Haas has led numerous initiatives that have had a lasting impact on our students, staff, and community. He strengthened community connections through the annual 5K run, continues to lead our highly successful K-6 STEAM night, developed and implemented MTS framework, championed new reading pilot programs, and enhanced the quality and relevance of our professional development and superintendent's conference days. Beyond his accomplishments, he's known as a calm, confident leadership style. He approaches every challenge with professionalism, thoughtfulness, and a steady hand. He's a trusted colleague, a respected leader, and on a personal note, truly my right-hand person, someone I can always count on for the support, insight, and partnership. And as he used in his Bayport Blue Point senior yearbook, I say to Mr. Haas, quick to the point, no faking, vanilla ice. That is his quote from the senior picture, just so we know. I thank you for your commitment to our students, staff, and community. Congratulations on this well-deserved achievement, and we look forward to many more years of your leadership and service. Please join me in congratulating Mr. Haas on receiving tenure.
Do you guys think Mr. Haas can get any more red? I'm sick right now.
It's going to be the backdrop of my computer.
Again, guys, that kind of concludes our ceremony tonight before we go into our public hearing for the budget. Again, congratulations. Thank you so much. It's for the people like you that make this place so special, but thank you for what you do. Congratulations. Have a great night. I know a lot of you guys want to get to the next game, so good luck. All right, at this time, I would ask the Board of Education for a motion to leave the business meeting and enter into the budget public hearing. Mrs. Kane, second by Mrs. Pignataro. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? At this time, we're going to turn it over to Dr. Harney and Ms. Lachlan for our budget hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. So tonight, what we're going to do is touch upon a little bit of the presentation that we gave on May 27th. And then also the main part of this is we do have to have a budget hearing by law. So that is what tonight is scheduled for. So with that, these are the topics that we're going to kind of review tonight. Review the proposed revote budget, review the 26-27 budget expenditures, our budget revenue, which has changed since our last meeting, which we had spoke about on the 27th, and then if the budget were to fail, what a contingency budget would look like. So with that being said, is everything we've done is, as you know, we've kind of focused on our strategic plan over the years. We are revising ours currently, which will be ready hopefully for the reorg meeting to be adopted by the Board of Ed. So we're looking forward to that. But everything we've done for the last couple of years has been either based on goals that we've had as a district or on our strategic plan. And these are the three main priority areas that are really our focus to us. So just to kind of recap a little bit. So at the May 19th annual budget vote, we had, if you remember, we needed a supermajority because at that time we had a tax levy that we went out with at that time or proposed at that time was a 2.75. So we needed a supermajority at that time. If you recall, we had a negative allowable tax levy. So anything over that negative 0.76, if we would have gone out at 0% on May 19th, we would have had to have a supermajority, that's 60%. If we would have gone out at a negative 0.5, it would have been the same. Anything outside of the negative 0.76, we would have needed a supermajority. That night, the budget had failed. We received 54.45%. So actually, from a simple majority, we were successful, but from a supermajority, we were not. So at the May 26th board meeting, 7th board meeting, the Board of Ed adopted a revised budget for a revote at that time. If you remember, when we had come back to when we held this special meeting, we talked about 3 options. Right? The 3 options at that time were, 1, to just go straight to a contingency budget. This is per the law. Or 2, to kind of come back and take a look at everything and present a new budget. Or 3, to put up the same budget. Both of those, if you were, again, to go over that negative 0.76, would need a 60% majority. At that time, it was determined that we would go out for a revote, which is on June 16th, which is what all districts across New York State, any of the districts that need to do a revote, that will be the day that we all do it.
So with that, on the May meeting, we did adopt a budget. We revised that budget due to some changes that we were able to make on the expenditure side as well as the revenue side. Our budget proposed for June 16th is $88,038,957. It does require a 2% levy increase, and it does continue to maintain all programs. We are seeing some cost savings within the budget that we proposed the first time as well as the second time. We have some staffing reductions due to all those retirements you just heard. We did not have to replace every single person that is retiring. Those are some teachers, administrators, and clerical that you just heard and just celebrated. Our utilities, we're seeing savings within there due to the energy performance contract. We have some contract efficiencies, shared services, BOCES contracts that we continue to look at on an annual basis to see where we can continue to save money and find efficiencies. Again, we do maintain all our programs. All our health and safety equipment is within the budget. We're maintaining our technology, especially our Chromebook one-to-one program. We are adding the girls flag football team, and we're expanding our special education program at the middle school, adding an 811 class. So with the area of expenditures, this chart is just showing you the different categories, the main categories of expense that we see. The gold line is the current year, 25-26, and the blue is the 26-27. So you can see salaries are slightly down. Again, that is through cost savings of attrition, not replacing some of those retirees. Our BOCES budget is slightly up. Again, as we are doing more cost savings through contracts, we're seeing our contract lines go down or stay stable. But BOCES, the benefit of contracting through BOCES is we get aid on those projects. We're about a 67% aid ratio in that category. So it is revenue we'll see in the future years. Transportation does go up. Our debt is going down. That is primarily why we have that negative levy. We have $1.4 million of debt that has been paid off in this current school year. And then our health benefits and all benefits as it relates to all employees is fairly stable. The different categories are kind of balancing each other. Health insurance is an unpredictable one. We do budget for it for the full year. However, we don't know what the rate will be for the second half of the year, so we have to project that. It could come in higher, it could come in lower. So we really kind of play a guessing game in that area just based on the information we receive from the insurance companies. And then our transfers to other funds is pretty much status quo. So our 3-part budget, this is our legal requirement to show our budget in 3-part form. We have an administrative component, the capital component, and our program component, which make up our full budget. You can see the definitions of each of those areas. Administrative is our legal services, BOCES services, auditor fees, public relations, salaries, and benefits. Capital is our security team, everything that has to do with our custodial staff, maintenance staff, any capital projects we're doing, our utilities, our debt, and our insurance. And then our program component is that are the actual programs that are being given to the children, our transportation budget, our athletics budget, special education programs. A lot of BOCES expenditures flow through there, contracts and services that we receive from BOCES to support those programs as well. On the revenue side, so as you can see by this graph, property taxes is our main source of revenue. We do have that 72%, 20% is state aid. On the day after the budget, we did receive state budgets, and as a result, we received a maximum 2% increase in foundation aid. We are originally planning for the 1%. When the final budget came through, we got an additional 1%, which was $118,000. And then all other aids are expense-based aids. So whatever we spend in the current year, we get aid on some of those expenditures in the following year. So as we continue to monitor our expenses and lower expenses, our aid does tend to go down. So as a result, our aid, the expense-based aids offset some of that foundation aid increases that we were receiving. The other areas are fund balance and reserves that we do continue to allocate to our budget year over year to help offset those expenditures, really primarily to moderate that impact on our taxpayers each year. So budget to budget, where were we? Where are we going? 25-26, the current year, it's an $89 million budget. 26-27 budget that we proposed on May 19th and failed was a 0.85% decrease from the current year budget, down to $88.3 million. And now our revised budget that we are putting out to the voters on June 16th is 1.24% lower than the current year operating budget. So we are now going from $89,147,050 to $88,037,958.
So if we were to prepare for a contingency, so if our budget were to fail on June 16th, these would be some of the things that we'd have to think about. But I'm going to backtrack just a half a sec, because a lot of the times people are asking us about the negative 0.76 tax levy. And it has a lot to do with the tax cap formula, all right? A lot of it, when you're talking to, has to do with exclusions. And in this case, we had debt that we had paid off, which is a good thing for a district. It is good that you can pay off your debt, your bonds, whatever it may be. We knew that this was coming. People often ask us, did you know that? We absolutely did know that was coming because we have a schedule of when all of our debt comes off. But saying that, it would have been during COVID times, and this is something we had spoken about last time. It would have probably been during COVID's time. The only time that we could have probably said, hey, if you wanted to try to avoid that negative tax levy, it would have been to put more debt on your books, to replace debt with debt, which would have kind of made things status quo, so to speak. To do that, then we probably would have had to do a bond at that time. If you remember during the time around COVID we were actually trying to be very conscientious. We had 3 years during that time where we actually went under our allowable tax levy. That was one thing we were trying to do. We were using more money from our fund balance to try to support it as well. So at that time, we did not think it would be prudent or the timing to kind of start to look into a bond. So that was something that we talked about during that time because we were trying to be very conscientious. Hence why we had that negative tax levy. I thought that was just important to remind everybody because that is a question that we often get asked about. So to come back to this, if we were to prepare for contingency, so if we go to that, you would go to a 0%. In this case, it would bring our overall budget down to about $86.5 million. So that would be something. We would need to make additional reductions to staff programs totaling about 1.34. So that is something we'd have to look at. So if the second budget is defeated, the Board of Education immediately adopts a contingency budget. So that means the night of the vote, as we've done every single vote, every year we have a budget vote, at the end the board would have to accept the budget. And remember, you're accepting a total number. Just like our community, they vote on a total number. That's something to keep in the back of your minds. Contingency budget is a 0%, as I said, from the 25-26. Budget reductions in the amount of $1.34 million, and the non-contingent budget items, which we'll show you in a second, need to be removed from the budget. That's automatic, that's law, that's something we don't have control of that needs to happen. Outside facility uses will be impacted. We spoke about that a little bit. One is we probably have to take a look at our facility policy. We'd have to update that because we have to make sure everything is online as well. And then we'd really have to take a look at all of the fees that go along with it. It's not just the direct fees, it would be all the indirect fees that go along with that. So that would be something as a Board of Ed, we'd have to see as many districts at that time decide they're not going to make any changes and they're just going to basically not let their fields be used. Others will look at it different ways. That would be a decision that we'd have to make later on, okay? So these are the non-contingent items. So for example, right now we have a capital transfer line, which we've had for a couple of years. If you remember, a couple of years ago, it was about $500,000. We've reduced it over the years to about $300,000, and that allows us to do the work that we need to do. Remember, we don't have a capital, we have a capital reserve now that we just established, but it's not funded. So really our only sources to do projects is through the general fund or through the capital transfer. So that is something that would go away for us. And then other items that were in the budget you'd see go as well. The cross cages, custodial equipment, ground maintenance equipment, art tables, anything that does not fall under safety type of items would be removed. Non-mandated summer programs, so that might be some of the enrichment programs that we offer. We work through BOCES with. That does not mean the extended year program, which is for special ed students. That is something that would be mandated, especially if it's on a student's IEP. So that would stay in place, but that would be some, as I mentioned before, facility use. Then these other items, 3D printers, musical equipment, contingency equipment, computer equipment, and summer BOCES enrichment. And this is something we did not know the last time we were unsure of, but my kids would, because my kids is not a self-sustaining program, so that would be something else that falls into that, which I don't believe we had on our list the last time, but once we consulted legal, that was something that would be impacted as well. And to do that, so if those items go, as I said, it's about 1.34 million, we would need a large chunk, we would still need a large amount of reductions once those removed. If I recall, that's somewhere around $700,000. So therefore, and give or take, so these are rough numbers, you would need then a little bit more, probably a little bit more than about $600,000. If you're looking at this, when we had created this list last time, we talked about it, these are all things that would be considered. And we tried to look across all different avenues. So this way we could have, look at it all. If you were to say to us, hey, which are the exact ones right now? We are not prepared to do that, to talk about that. But we did try to take a look at where we could still offer our students, one, the things that are mandated for them or the programs that they would absolutely need, whether it be through special ed, core curriculum, AIS, things like that, that would have to be part of the program that we'd want to keep. And then we started to look at everything. So on where we're looking at this is JV sports, where we were trying to keep middle school sports. And this way we were removing middle school clubs. So we're trying to find a balance if that was something that we were going to look at. Field trips is something across the board. Now, unless they're tied to the curriculum specifically, that would have to something to be looked at. And I think the other thing as I go through these, the other important thing to remember is it doesn't mean that all of something on this list would go possibly. It could be piecemeal. For example, curriculum writing that is on here. We do know for a fact there are 2 state mandates that are coming out that you've heard us talk about, finance literacy and a global environment. Those are 2 things that would have to be looked at. So that's what I'm saying as you take a look at the list as entitled, we'd have to go through it a little bit more. We said the clubs at the elementary and middle school, we would take a look at that. World language, as you know, we offer 3 to 5 world language programs, so that would be something which would impact staff, conference and travel as well, support staff in terms of when you're taking a look at all the other programs where, are you doing as many as lessons or whatever it may be, that might be something you're looking at. Esports club is something we would look at, quarterly PD, curriculum writing, which I already talked about, arts and ed enrichment. As you know, we do all these things live streaming. We would remove those most likely. And then we start to look at programs that might be extras that we're able to offer in our current programs. That may be something we would look at. So we possibly look at the gifted and talented program, which would impact one of our librarians, because those are the people that do the gifted and talented program, if you recall. Elementary guidance. There is something that we are required to have. We went from 0.5 to 1.0 years ago. We'd go back to probably the 0.5 as a possibility. We would take a look at our E&L, reading staff as well. Music equipment, the high school, middle school musicals, transportation is something, literacy coaches, building budget supplies, and flag football. So these are all things that we would consider. Totally transparent. This is numbers that do equal up to more than that we would need, but we really have to kind of dig deep and kind of go across and take a look at everything individually and see, again, where we're still trying to offer our students the most. But definitely when you're talking about, for example, when you're looking at certain one of these lines, esports is less than $10,000. That is not necessarily getting us to $600,000, $650,000. So it's something that we'd have to look at. So these would all be part of the consideration and the conversation. And my suggestion would be, if the budget were to fail on the 16th and we had to go to a contingency budget, is at that time, as I said, the board would need to adopt the contingency budget as is, and then probably between that day and June 30th, we'd probably have to hold another Board of Ed meeting so that we could come and kind of present this with much more detail, so we'd have that for you. So that would be my suggestion. And then obviously we have the revote. The revote is scheduled for the 16th. The poll is open in the high school gymnasium. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. On that day, and we'll know that day. So really what we're asking is people to come out and vote. With that, we'll take any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Harney. Thank you, Ms. Lachlan. Open it up for trustees. Any questions? Ms. Connick? Nobody saw that.
Thank you for your presentation. I never wanted either or people, and I never want to put sports against the arts, for instance. But can you just talk about the legality or the regulations about why we're allowed to keep varsity sports in a contingency budget, whereas we would have to consider reducing the musicals? I think it's my understanding that sports are kind of considered part of the education. I have the wrong words, you guys know.
No, I don't believe there is a, yeah, this is probably a question for Neil better than myself. I'm not sure sports falls under that.
There's no distinction between
I
varsity
think
and JV. It's discretionary in terms of what we want to maintain.
Yeah, if you're asking why we were looking at JV sports at the time, so then I'm not sure if I follow the question.
No, and perhaps I'm misunderstanding because cutting varsity isn't considered in contingency here. We're hoping to be allowed to keep that.
Remember, let me backpedal a little bit. When the budget had failed on the 19th, then immediately as an administrative group, we started to get together and start to plan and start to think about what are some of the items that we would start to take a look at if we had to go on a contingency budget. So there are the two pieces. There are the non-contingent items, which is on that slide before that. All those must go. And then it really became that other things we wanted to consider as possibilities, where we were trying not to impact the students. So we thought about leaving varsity because many of the students use the varsity sports, right, in terms of for scholarships or things for their resumes. And we started to look at things that way a little bit, if that was what you were in.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Any other trustees?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sauter?
Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation. That was very good, and thank you for all of your efforts during this budgeting process. So I have a question about the facilities use. This slide says facilities use impacted, but it's also under the non-contingent reductions that must occur under contingency. So you've put something that's you have a black and white slide that says there's no room to wiggle, but yet you've used terminology that suggests it's flexible. So, and you spoke to this a little bit, Dr. Harney, but could you just provide more clarity? What does that mean, facilities use impacted?
So at our last meeting, if you recall, we did say that facilities use would not be allowed. We then had further conversation with legal to get a better understanding of how is facilities use truly impacted. And as Dr. Harney said, we would have to take a look at our facilities use policy and the fee schedule that we currently have in place. We do charge facilities use fees, but we would have to take a look at that to make sure that there are no indirect costs not being captured within there. So in order to have any outside organization use our buildings on times where it is not staffed, if we're bringing in extra staff, we're opening it up on a weekend or an evening that it normally wouldn't be open, we need to make sure that all costs are being covered. Or we don't let that happen at all. So that's a board decision to be made that would have to, the conversation would have to continue should we have to go to a contingency budget. So that's why we're saying now it could be impacted. If we have the building open, our clubs and all of that will all continue to run because that's part of the curricular program. But for instance, our PTAs that do use our buildings, if they're holding their event during the normal course of a day and I don't have to bring in additional custodial or security staff to help, then they can continue to operate because we already have staff on for it, and it's not causing any overtime or any additional costs to the district. So that is now what we're seeing as the impact. Am I correct, Neil?
That's correct. He's self-sustaining.
So, I think one of our, what I'm getting from, talking to a lot of community members is, there's concerns about like youth lacrosse, using the fields and some of these efforts. Do you think that would be impacted under what you're talking about?
It would be, because maintaining those fields, we have to do more work to maintain the fields by the additional use. So we maintain our fields by our teams using it, but now with additional use, there is additional maintenance on turf fields as well as our regular grass fields. So we would have to charge for that maintenance to those fields, as well as any security that we bring in or anything else that would be required to help make sure that those programs run.
And then also, Mr. Sauter, we'd have to take a look at what our current fee schedule is right now. Because right now, for our in-house programs, there is a very small fee. So that's when we talk about impact, that there would be much more of a fee probably attached to it if we were able to do it as well. Also, the time of day, as Ms. Slackland was talking about, would really have a direct impact. So for example, we let a lot of things run at night, right? That would be something that is not necessarily always taken into account within our current facility use policy. That would have to be taken into consideration. So there would be additional, if anything, at the minimum, definitely additional more fees. And then that's why we're saying we'd have to decide if we wanted to go forward with that or not.
So just to be clear, so you're talking about indirect costs, so they would just have to, you'd have to do an assessment based on whatever the use was, of what you calculate all the indirect costs, and then you ensure that those indirect costs don't exceed, or that the fees exceed whatever the indirect costs are and direct costs.
Yeah, it's got to be, as Mr. Block had said, self-sustaining, right? So it's got to cover itself. That's what we'd have to make sure of, that there's no additional cost to the district whatsoever.
I want to be clear, though, there's something called direct costs and indirect costs, and those
Correct.
have very definite meanings. And the indirect costs can, sometimes they're intangible, or they, people on the outside don't appreciate what those indirect costs really can amount to.
Correct.
And they can be substantial.
Correct, and that's why you see a number of districts who don't even do the building use then, because of things like that.
No, understood. I'm trying to dig in and make it clear about how these things are calculated and what it might look like. Because it's not as clear as, or the way that it's being distinguished right now is different. So thank you very much for that. That's very helpful.
Thank you, Mr. Sauter. Mr. Johnson?
I just wanted to bring up a point. If I was out there and I was watching this presentation, I know we talked about the biggest driver, is the debt coming off, and you had referenced that that's part of the problem. So I'd say, as a finance person, I'd say, well, that's a good thing. Where you don't have the expense anymore. So what's the problem? But I think it's important to kind of put out there that a significant portion of that expense is paid for, well more than half, by state aid. So when that expense falls off, so does the offsetting revenue. But unfortunately, we now have to reduce our cap by the entire amount that we were recognizing in that revenue, whatever the formula is. So it's just important to understand that while the debt's coming off, so is the revenue that supports a significant portion of it.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other trustees? Ms. Springthorpe?
So I just wanted to circle back on the non-contingent reductions and then the additional reductions, those two slides. So you mentioned the non-contingent reductions add up to approximately 700,000, is that correct?
It's about around 6,000,
Give or take.
yeah.
So then we would have to piece together the rest of $1.34 million in reduction from the list below.
Correct.
And my understanding from having lived through a contingency budget in the district where I work, the items on this list, this is kind of including but not limited to. You could pull other items onto this list if you needed to. That's correct?
So this list was derived from the administrative team coming together on May 20th and saying, let's just start throwing things on a wall.
Start putting a list together.
Everybody look at your departments, your buildings, your budgets as a whole, and let's just start making that list. And that's how that came about. Yes.
Thank you. And as Mrs. Kane said, we definitely don't want to start pitting special interests against one another, but I do think it's important to note that it would take a lot of those items together to add up to $600,000 or more.
Yes, and as we said, there are some things that are about $10,000 in value, and then there's some that are over $100,000 in value.
Correct.
The people cost more than some of the other programs.
Right.
But we would look at it structurally to see what is the least impact on students. And, maybe it's not doing a full 0.5 FTE on guidance and it's a 0.3, or, so it is taking a look at it as a whole.
Right,
In
it's
order
fluid,
to come up
yeah.
with that full number, yeah.
So I think I just wanted to kind of clarify, especially on the heels of Mrs. Kane's question about sports, that, there are other things that could be pulled into this list and things that could be added or eliminated based on our decision at that time. So really, the night of the vote, the only thing we have to do is accept the number,
A budget number.
which, as a reminder, is 0% is above the 0.76 negative
Correct.
levy anyway. So knowing that, then we would have to reconvene as a board and decide which items from this list as line items would make up that 1.34
That's correct.
total. And separately, just another point of clarification, we remain in need of a supermajority on June 16th.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure for the many people that are watching us from home that they're aware of that.
Yes.
And wanted to also just take a moment to thank the community members that made a point of being here tonight, as well as the staff that are giving up their time to stay and be a part of this process. I know that I beat the drum of community engagement a lot, so I just want to take an opportunity to do that again and just thank the folks that made the time to be here to watch us from home.
Thank you, Ms. Pignataro. Any other trustees?
Yeah, I have one more question I'd like to ask. So this is in regards to the slide on additional reductions to be considered for contingency. So you've got some full-time employee, like, 1.0 librarian, you've got 0.5 FTE for elementary guidance, ENL, 0.4 FTE. So are these potential proposals, a potentiality of like actually, firing or, getting rid of employees?
Correct, it would be potentially accessing those positions, yes.
How would that work with our teachers' unions and protections that these employees might have?
Because it would be a contingency budget, okay, it would be something that, if we had to do it, we can absolutely do it.
So any contingency budget, we have the ability to potentially.
Yeah, in terms of when we're looking at when it comes to excess, and there are certain things that you need to follow, and we've done that in the past, but now that again, when you're going into a contingency budget, it's really those types of things that you can really look at everything.
Okay, you've got these listed out. Could there be other employees that could be cut potentially?
Yeah, these are conversations that we've actually even had with them as well, it's just so that we're aware in terms of things that we were possibly looking at as we're going forward. And I think Ms. Pignataro was saying the same thing, is this is a list of things that we said we would consider. But if there was something that you said, hey, you really want us as a Board of Ed, and you said we'd like you to take a look at this, that is absolutely something that we could take a look at as well.
Okay. Hey, thank you. And I understand that this is just a proposal, and I'm really just trying to understand what is the world of the possible. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm asking these questions. Thank you very much. That's very
if you remember this, right, we put a budget together over a 5-month period, right? And we made, I don't know what it was, 8 or 9 presentations where we talked about what would be in the budget. The budget fails, and basically we were asked within less than a week to try to put a proposal together for a revote. So that's why I said it's very tough to just say, hey, this is it, and this is how it's going to be. It's much more of a bigger conversation.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
That
you,
answers
Mr.
my
Sauter.
question.
Mr. Johnson?
Well, I just offer this. My mentality is kind of like, it's great that you guys put together this list, and we kind of put it, we do got to start thinking about this in the just in case, but I like to think of there's not a problem unless there's a problem. So when the community members out there that are worried and frustrated about whether it'll impact something that they rely on and need, I just offer, none of this really is going to be seriously discussed as an action unless we get under the supermajority. So in my opinion, until June 16th happens and we know how the budget goes forward, this really isn't something that concerns me for what are we going to do and what are we not going to do. I just offer that before we get into the online or thread debates on the social media, that this really is only if we don't get the supermajority, so.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. And I think, as you know, I'll just talk within my 9 years, I can probably talk over my 18 years here, is people have said to you in the past when you're going out with your first vote, hey, do you have a list if you were to go to contingency? We've never done that. We've never looked to do that because we always felt that we were putting forward the best budget possible. And obviously, we've been very, very blessed with the support of the community here. So this is the first time that we've had, in my time, that I can recall being within the district, that we've had to say, you know what, this is a question that people are going to start to ask if they had to go to contingency. So that's why we wanted to at least create something that people could say, all right, this is something we definitely have to consider now. It's very different when you're going out for it the first time. There's not another opportunity after this.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other? Ms. Conley?
Just one more point of information that I just want to make sure that I have correct. As as a board, we can't tell anyone how to vote. We can just put out information, when to vote, where. People can still vote via absentee.
Correct.
If they get it in by tomorrow, if they need it mailed to them, is that correct? Because it's 7 days before?
I would ask our district clerk.
That is correct.
Okay.
Tomorrow is the last day to have an absentee ballot mailed to you.
That, I'm just going to repeat that in a microphone. Tomorrow is the last day to get your absentee ballot application in if you need it mailed to you. And you have until the day before the budget, if you know you're not going to make it on the 16th, you have until the day before to contact the district clerk, Mrs. Benetti, put in your application, and that absentee ballot needs to be returned to the district by 5 p.m. on the day of the vote, yes?
Yes, that's correct. People can also come in, fill out the application, and vote at the very same time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just want to add also, there's also the early mail ballot too. So we talk about absentees, we also have early mails, and both are due at the same time frame.
Thank you, Mr. Block. Any other trustees? I would just say, before we open up to questions, that list, that looks like a very different Bayport Blue Point than I've been used to over the years. So I hope people don't take it as a scare tactic as much as it's reality. Unfortunately, something's going to have to go. We talk about librarian, guidance, ENL, reading teacher, literacy coaches. We're talking about support staff. We're talking about world languages, but those people have names. So there's names behind those. It's easy to put a list up here, but I think people need to realize Bayport Blue Plate looks different on next Wednesday if this budget goes down. So not a scare tactic, but reality. So I just want people to say, or people not to say they didn't know. So Dr. Harney, Ms. Laughlin, thank you so much. Appreciate it, but we'll open it up to any people out here who have any questions, and we'll answer them as best we can. Yeah, come on down. We just need your name and Bayport Blue Point. Thanks for coming.
How's it going? Yeah, James from Blue Point. Can we just go back in the slides a little bit to the one that shows the difference in budgets? Oh, up here, better, yeah.
What's your last name, James?
Right. One more. This one. Yeah, this one. Okay, so you said we have to cut 1.3. The slides from the 27th were a little bit different. They were like, the numbers were pretty significantly different. But on here you have the program at 67,232. But on the proposed budget, the initial one, you had the program budget proposed for 66,153. So that's pretty close to the 1.3 million you're looking for. I have this, the mailer that was mailed out, the one that shows the proposed budget for programs. And the proposed budget is 66,153. But now it's proposed 67,232. But that's the 1.3 million we're looking for. You just cut it out of the admin.
Is that the old one?
Is
The
that,
one from the initial vote. Whatever this is. Yeah, yeah. But my point is, if the program was originally going to be run off of this budget without any cuts and all these new programs being added, now why do we need to increase it to then cut it?
It wouldn't come from the program. The cuts would come. The reductions would come from various categories. One, there's an administrative requirement for cuts. As we said, capital, which was on the non-contingent, would see a significant reduction because we can't do capital projects, some equipment, anything non-health and safety related would come out. So we would be seeing cuts within administrative and capital, as well as we would see some reductions in the program categories. So as we are continuing to go through the budget and making sure things are within these right components by law of what is truly program, what is truly capital, and what is administrative, is what we're seeing here as we are continuing to go through this process.
So the original budget, the programs couldn't be run on the budget proposed. Basically, the program budget was incorrect on the original vote then. I mean, it's pretty significant. Okay. But I'm just confused. I'm sure you can understand it's a pretty significant amount of the administrative budget because now all of a sudden the administrative budget's not getting an increase, but it was proposed to get basically $1 million increase, a $900,000 increase. But now they don't need that. They're actually taking a $600,000 loss.
So administrative, we have seen some reductions in staff in administrative already through this process, as well as I said, just kind of putting things into the right component categories as we've been going through this process, trying to make sure things are actually coded correctly at this time.
So what would have happened if this passed?
We would have been operating under that budget, continuing to make the corrections in the codes and the categories, yes.
Right, but so it's technically budgeted out. When you did the original budget, you basically calculated that it was going to cost $66 million to run all of the programs. But now it's going to cost almost exactly what we need to cut more.
I'd have to go through line by line, which is available on the website as well, that we can go through to see where those services are.
Right. I mean, that's why we're here, to get the answer, yeah. Yeah.
Budget line by line, the original is on the website as well as the new proposal.
is it possible we can set up a phone call?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and I'm happy to have a conversation further. So it's the actual component categories of what he is questioning is the differences from what was originally proposed to what is proposed now.
So I think it'd be
So
great
I
if you
understand what you're saying.
either maybe share your phone number, share your
Yeah, I
email.
will. I just want to answer, your portion of that. So we're talking about cuts. That's the whole thing. We're talking about these are the potential things that could be cut here, and that's what's on everyone's mind. So to say, oh, we're only passing it over this end line seems kind of not right, because you're threatening programs essentially. Not threatening, but you're saying these programs are the ones that are going to take hits. And then you're saying, okay, well, we're not actually budgeting on programs, we're budgeting on the full amount. But the exact difference is what now is being moved line by line. So now we're not voting to cut admin, we're cutting program, where this original proposed budget is the opposite. We basically be voting to cut admin because from the initial program, you cut $2 million, and now we're only cutting basically $900,000. So I see what you're saying, it's the end budget that matters, but realistically, that's not what was proposed, essentially. And I think that's the misleading portion of it.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Any other community members? Not see. Come on down, Ms. Sauter. No.
Give me a second to change batteries. Not like there's. Looking at something. I know. Name in town is Antonia Sauter, Blue Point. When we're talking about components of the budget, are we talking about things like the lead pipes that were being replaced that are now being like moved to health and safety issues?
Those are things that are in the transfer to capital already. Those transfers happen from prior year budgets and have been approved already by the state for us to do that work. So those projects would continue because that money has already been moved. The projects in transfer to capital that wouldn't continue is the $300,000 we have in the budget for the new year, for the new work to be done in 26-27 school year.
Right, but is that a part of like what got moved around in that flood?
No, those are all within the capital line. Those remain within the capital components.
How much would this add to our overall tax bill, like everyone across the board?
17, 24, 48
So it's $17
a month.
and 50 cents per month.
Per month, correct, is the estimate based on current information that we have, yeah.
Right, and so all of the, I know we can't like say exactly what would be cut or not, but theoretically, if youth sports was allowed to exist or other things, you'd be paying, and my kids, you'd be probably paying more than $20 in each one of your sports or whatever to make sure that they could continue.
Potentially, I can't speak to what people are
Theoretically.
charging, but. Yeah.
Right, so we're talking about $20 a month. Admin is like the largest part of our budget or the smallest part of our budget?
Say that again?
Our admin is like
She's talking
the
about the three-part
largest
budget.
part of our budget or
administrative.
a smaller portion of our budget?
The admin is a small, it's only about 7% of our budget.
So only
The admin
7% of our budget
Yeah.
is dedicated to admin.
Admin component, so
Components.
it's not admin staff.
Right,
It's
but
you know, our
admin
legal
component.
fees, yeah, our BOCES services, administrative services we're required to pay to BOCES. You know, all those different things that were in that category amongst many other items that fall within the admin area, yeah.
Right, 7%.
Yep.
Okay, and it's a bigger taxpayer burden because similar to other districts that are makeup of ours, student population, test scores and otherwise, we don't have a business district that supports our downtown. So a majority, and it's always been this way, a majority of our our budget has to come from taxpayers, correct?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. Any other community members? Not hearing any, we're going to open it up to, oh, never mind. Not hearing any, we will ask the board to, can I have a motion to close the public hearing and return to the business meeting? Ms. Pignataro, Ms. Conley, all in favor? Opposed, abstentions, moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any items the board would like to remove from the consent agenda and place on the regular agenda? Not hearing any, can I have motions for I through M? Mr. Johnson, second. Ms. Pignataro, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed, abstentions, moving on to the regular agenda. We got 3 items tonight. Can I have a motion to review and adopt 2627 Code of Conduct Policy 5300? Ms. Pignataro, second by Ms. Conley. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Moving on to item number